Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm Daniel Norton, photographer, and on this channel we talk about all kinds of things related to photography, whether it be business, technique, and sometimes editing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I did a video a little while back about Profoto AI, which is a AI photo editor, and got lots of great feedback, lots of conversations spurred from that. And when Profoto reached out to me again to do another video, I thought, well, heck yeah, let's check it out. So if you haven't seen that video, I will put a link, but kind of too long don't read, or whatever you call it. Me personally, this is what I think about these kind of softwares. I think that if you do batch type work, that is to say you shoot weddings, you shoot school portraits, you shoot sports, headshots, you do things where you shoot a large amount of images and you want to deliver a effectively retouched, that is skin cleaned up, possibly backgrounds removed, images to people. So you want to basically send them images that are done. Then software like this can really speed up your process. If you are someone like me that generally doesn't do that kind of work to my images, that is to say, I just do a quick tweak in Capture One and send them, blemishes and all, generally, and then maybe I'll retouch one or two images that they select, then this type of software might not be for you. It really depends on your workflow. But I do think that if you're in the photo industry and you are learning photography, whether you've been doing it for, longer than I care to remember, or you just started, it's always worthwhile to look at new technologies and see how they can work for you. So let's take a look. They've added a feature here in version 3 that I actually think would be something that I might find very useful, even in the types of work and types of delivery that I do, which is stray hair removal. This is something we encounter a lot. So I'm going to jump in here and we're going to go on my screen. We're just going to go for it. Here I have some images. These I actually took from my How Did I Like This series. Some of them you may have seen already by the time this video comes out, some not. So I won't get too much into how I lit them. But I thought it was a good variety because they're shot in different formats with different cameras, different models, different locations, sometimes outside, sometimes inside. And I want to see how this thing will work, right? Because the goal here is automation. So let's start with this first image of Abby. So this was shot actually on film. You can tell by the framing that it was shot on film. That's so there's scanner marks at the top. And what we can see here is, also I focus on the back eye for people that hate that. We can see some stray hairs up here, also some on her forehead, and we have this little bump up here. So can we get rid of this in a snap with AI? That's really the question. Now, I'm also going to give the caveat to say this is a beta feature that they've just added, so, it may not be perfect, but let's see what happens. Now, of course, you can still, if you watch the other video, there's lots of things we can do. We can do blemish removal, we can change up the skin, but again, I don't want to focus on that so much in this video. So let's jump in here. I'm just going to go right to hair. And you can see these things existed before. Then down here we have remove stray hairs, beta. So we go over here and I'm just going to drag it over to full power. And we can see that as soon as we add any of this, we get a couple of things. We get two more sliders at the bottom, within figure and beyond figure. So within figure, think of figure as like your silhouette, right? So within would be like the stuff on her forehead. Outside would be this. Now, even at full blast, this actually did a pretty good job. It left like the shadow from the hair, which doesn't really bother me, but it might bother you, I guess. There, it got rid of all of this stuff, these little very fine hairs that were over here, but it did not get rid of this big chunky piece. Possibly because this is so thick that it just thought it wasn't stray anymore, and this is within the lines of her hair. So in this case, I would need to go in here and use like a healing brush or something to take that out. So I wasn't able to just deliver that 100%. So I'll give that like a B. So let's go to the next one here. Okay, this one was my friend Smith, and we can see the sun's behind her, the wind's blowing. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So if we zoom in on her here, let's see what we can do. Again, we'll grab this, pull it over full strength. Wow, okay. That did a pretty darn good job. There's a couple pieces here that it didn't really get, some really fine pieces, but overall, it did a pretty good job. And again, here I'll show you the within and without, because I think you'll be able to see it here. So if I remove the within figure, we'll get these hairs, will come back, right there. I don't think we'd want to do that here, but there are times you might want to do that. And obviously if we go out, then we could do that. So that's useful if, like, for instance, you wanted the wind-swept hair in the back, but there was some that just were very distracting on her face. But I think in this case, we're going to put them both up at full blast. And I would call that an A. I think that did a great job. And if you had, like I did, if I was to take all these images, 30 or 40 of them that we shot on the porch, I could just boom, 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 all that hair is gone and deliver them really easy. So I think, again, that would save me a ton of time. Okay, next. Like I said, I just threw a bunch of images in here. This one doesn't have any issues with hair, so I'm going to leave it. So this is interesting because I'm looking at this and going, will the AI actually recognize that the hair in the middle between here should not be removed? Is it going to go in here and take all that out and you'll have these like tentacles? We don't want that. So let's see what it actually does. No, it didn't. Okay, it looks like it just barely cleaned up around the edges. Let's zoom in here. Okay, I know it's a little soft, but let's zoom in and let's take it away and see what it does. Yeah, just a tiny bit around the edges. And we'll take it away again. It's just cleaning up a little bit that's on the floor. That's good. I'm glad it didn't do that. One issue that I've had with some softwares like this in the past is that sometimes they're just way too heavy-handed for me. And this is pretty good. If anything, it errs on the side of not being heavy-handed, as we saw with the image of Abby at the beginning. All right, here's another image from that same shoot. And here it might be a good example of what I was talking about. We've got hair, trying to zoom here. We have hair in front of her eye, which again doesn't really bother me, but it might bother you. And we also have this here with the sun. I think that I don't want the hair in front of her eye necessarily, at least not all of it, but I do want this hair in the back. So let's put the full reduction on there. All right, that completely cleaned it up. That did a really good job just taking it away. But let's say I do want some of the hair behind her head because I like the way the sun blasts through. I feel like if you look at this image, right, let's look at the vibe of this image. It's got that kind of sexy vibe, right? And what's more sexy than messy hair, right? I say that because my hair is always messy, as you probably know. Okay, so let's say within figure we want it full, but beyond figure, let's go down to 50% and see if we get some of that back. Still takes it away. There we go. Wow, I guess it didn't consider it doing it that much because it turned off completely for it to come back. But see, I think that looks better. I like the way that looks. In fact, I might even want a little bit of hair in front of her eye, and we can do that by dropping this down to just barely beyond. See how we're starting to get the little bit of hair back? Like, I think I like that. That's only at 12% there. So that I like. And now we have a mix, right? We can actually control it. Again, some of this is great because we can batch it, boom, 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 but then we can also jump in and tweak. Okay, let's just do a couple more. I think you're getting the feel for it. So here we got classic backlight, right? So again, we don't want to completely eliminate everything because if it does, we won't see the separation that we like with the backlight, but we don't want it to be too frizzy. So let's come in and let's put it on full strength to start and let's see if we want to adjust it. Okay, no, I think that actually does pretty good like that. This is right here. This is not perfect. I'd like to see this be less soft. Let me see if I go beyond figure, if I bring it back a bit. Okay, that's a little better. Again, it doesn't completely take it away, so I think that looks more natural to me. But again, this one, like Abby, I think is not perfect. So we're doing pretty good though, but these things are not 100% perfect and we know that. Okay, here's a nice clean one. This is a good example of where we would probably have some, we had some flyaways right here. And on the top of her head, let's see what this does. Okay, there it worked really well. So again, we're looking at different types of images and seeing what the software will do with each one. And if you, again, something like this, let's say I was shooting it for a catalog and I wanted to deliver them all, it would be easy enough to remove those stray hairs. All right, another one here of Erica. Again, we got some stray hairs here. This I don't want to get rid of, right? I mean, there's a few little ones underneath, but I mean, I don't want to lose this. So let's see what it does. Okay, again, it recognized, and I think this is the problem, if you want to call it that we had with that image in the beginning of Abby, is that it was thinking like this, right? Well, that's a big piece. We want to leave that. This image, if you've we're this far in the video, if you already forgot. I think to the AI, this and this are the same. And that's where, the human eye has to come in and decide what's what. So again, this, I think, did a good job. Let's do one more. Actually, let's do something that's different. We already did a dark background. Let's do, there's not a lot of flyaways there. Okay, here we go. Here we have the sky behind her. We have some flyaways. Let's see what it does. Okay, really nice and clean. I think that did a good job. Okay, this is kind of fun. I'm going to do one more. I think we're going to do this one. Again, here's something interesting, right? We've got this almost curtain-like background, so it's not nice and clean. We have lots of curls and stuff here. I don't want to remove all this nice texture in her hair. That would be terrible, right? But I do see some bunches up here that would be nice for it to get rid of. Maybe even some of this over here. I don't think it'll get rid of that, but let's see. Okay, it did a good job. Again, we have some curl, which I don't mind that, like I did with the one with Abby. Over here, this is nice and smoothed out. Did it get rid of anything down here to make it look weird? It did not. So I think, again, overall, good job. All right, so that's kind of a cool feature. There were some other added features, brightening of the skin. There's some more of the kind of makeup you can put on, which is kind of interesting, added, but it wasn't really something I was looking at in this. Now, have I changed my opinion, right? That's really always the question. I think baseline, I'm still kind of the same. I don't know that I would use this that often, but this feature I kind of like. And what I could see myself doing as I'm working through this is exporting my 50 images, let's say, for the subject. And then when they pick a few and I do my minor retouching, then quickly running it through this for the things like the hair removal, which will save me maybe an hour where I could do it in 5 minutes here. So I think a combined method is probably where I would approach this. Yes, you can do everything here, right? We did that in the other video. You can go in like with a raw file and you can do all your adjustments. But because I'm already shooting in Capture One and because of the nature of how I shoot anyways, I wouldn't change all that to come here. But I do think this could be part of my finishing process. Do my basic retouch, run it through the AI to take care of the hair, wrinkles and clothes, maybe remove backgrounds if I need to. I think it would be good for that. So I would love to know how you would use software like this or what you use to do the things I'm showing here. Let me know in the comments below. Check the description. You're going to find a link to Profoto. You get a few free downloads when you sign up for your package, so you'll be able to try it out and download some images to see if it works for you. You're also going to find a link to my Discord server down there where you can join the conversation. I appreciate you watching the video, and I'll talk to you soon.